back to the Bay City Chronicles. I am your DM/GM/host TGE, and with me tonight we've got German for raccoon, it's Chameleon Ice. French for missing microphone, Dark Falls. Spanish for lazy, Crimson Avix. And idiot in any language, Norastra.
We love you, Nora.
Oh, it works out. No one can hear that.
No one can hear me, apparently.
It's really quiet on the street.
Weird. Me being extra quiet.
You can only be done by a machine.
I know. It's scary.
That's because we're not talking a whole lot.
Well, I don't want to talk too much if y'all can't hear me.
It's like the entire draw of the show.
We're not missing much.
Yeah, it's real quiet. I just take a peek on the screen. And Nora, you're deafened. He can't hear me anyway.
Yeah, it's like, why do you tell him? I can't hear you, I'm deafened. Hold on.
It was better that way, honestly.
What do you want? I stepped away.
Yeah, well, the sound's wrong. No one can hear anything.
Hold on.
Well, we can hear you on the stream, Krim. We just can't hear
Oh, I know why. Hold on.
The hero's work is never done.
There, now the poor unfortunate souls can all hear you.
Hooray!
Flotsam Jetsam, now we've got our boys. The boss is on a roll. That one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, now, as I said, since nobody heard it, we'll get to do the introductions again here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bay City Chronicles. I am your DM/GM/host, TGE. And with me tonight, we've got German for raccoon, Chameleon Ice. French for missing microphone, Dark Falls. Spanish for technical difficulties, Crimson Avix. And still an idiot in any language, Norastra.
And no, Tej. It's totally just still the lazy. I was too lazy to switch to my headphones, so that output didn't go, and I probably should unclick that so people don't have...
Output on the stream? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was just teaching myself, so you're not getting a lower quality stream.
Yeah, and all you were doing was covering my ear.
Well, no, it was over my graphic, too.
Yeah, your graphic, which is backwards on stream, by the way.
Oh, well.
We shall learn.
We don't. Well, again, it's technical difficulties. It wouldn't be BCC if there wasn't something technical about it. So,
Indeed.
We are here tonight because this is going to be Session 0 for the new 5e campaign, Diastasi. Session 0 basically consists of, we're going to sit here, we're going to talk. These guys are going to roll up their stats. We're going to talk about how they want to do that. We're going to build some characters. We're going to talk about the world a little bit. And that's basically what we're going to do here. It's sort of the getting to know you of characters and world and all of that. So I've given you guys a little bit about the world. But before we do that, let's talk stats for a minute. Because the entire point of one of the most fun things, I should say, about tabletop role-playing games is rolling dice. Am I wrong?
It's one of the better parts.
Yes, rolling dice. I mean, we got Nora addicted to dice.
Unless you're dark, and then it's, well, feast or famine there.
I said rolling dice was fun. I didn't say the results had to be fun.
There you go.
I mean, unless a kill's about to happen, then it's fine.
Exactly. So we have a couple of options, gentlemen. And I use the term loosely. Our options
Or gentlemen?
Yes. So the first option is the way we did it for Lagaria, which is 4d6, drop lowest, reroll initial ones. Or one that's going to allow for a little bit more of a bell curve, so we don't have any more Ponzi incidences, which would be 5d6, drop highest, drop lowest.
Weird.
It creates more of a bell curve.
Huh.
So we don't have a Nora.
I guess, yeah, exactly. Like I said, no more Ponzi incidents.
Not that that did anything for us.
Which is hilarious, because he rolled like crazy for Ponzi, and all his Ponzi did was kept dying.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, it didn't do a thing for him.
Yeah, I mean, every party needs a Dan. What happened with Ponzi? Well, when we rolled stats for Lagaria, Nora rolled 4 18s. So he got to put 4 18s into his 6 stats, which is the highest you can go to start with. And it didn't matter because he still kept dying.
Yeah.
So
We were all extremely jealous, and he still died.
But Ponzi was the best tank ever.
Tanking the floor doesn't count as being a tank.
He tanked several hits before tanking the floor, but yes.
This is known as a face tank.
Yes. So, I guess the question is, gentlemen, which method do you all prefer? I will be the tiebreaker if need be.
As what? Roll 5, drop the highest?
Yep,
And
5d6,
lowest.
drop high, drop low, or 4d6, drop low, reroll initial ones. Or if there's another suggestion, I'm up for listening.
Gotcha. Do we reroll the ones on the
No.
fiver? No? Okay. And in case of a tie, what happens?
In case of a tie for voting, I break it.
No,
Because
no,
I'm
no.
playing, I'd vote for
reroll.
replacing
Well,
ones.
if you have
because
two
you
ones,
know it's
you
going
just
to
drop
happen.
one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, you just drop one of them, you don't reroll. Gotcha. That makes sense.
I think I like the 4 reroll ones.
Yeah, well, we knew Dark would like that one.
I like a little bit of chaos. I don't mind the 5 and then dropping the high and the low. I mean, I don't play for stats anyway.
No. Krim?
I honestly don't care, but you know that the 5 drop high, drop low is my DMing style.
I do. Which puts the impetus on me.
As usual, you have to make a decision.
I do.
And we all know we're port making decisions here.
We are. And poor decisions too, as well. Electric Sheepaloos. That's an inside joke, y'all. So don't worry about that. Since you guys are putting the impetus on me, I think the answer here is, I know me personally, I want as many dice in my hand as possible. I want to hear that rattle. I want to feel that shake. And as a GM, I would like, to deal with less max stats. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to choose 5d6, drop high, drop low.
Alrighty, 5 6s, here we go.
Yes. So, as we all know, there are going to be 6 stats to roll. And that's what we're going to be doing here. First, we'll get into characters, we'll get into the world, we'll get into all that afterwards. But let's do what we all came here for, is dice rolling. So, who is the first victim? I mean, who wants to go first?
Oh, Nora?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Alrighty. I don't need a dice cam. If you want to show me the dice, you can, but go ahead. We're going to do this. Remember, there are 6 stats. We're going to need 6 rolls. That's, for the record, that's 30 dice you're rolling.
That's a lot of dice.
It is.
So we will not do the dice cam because I'll have to reset everything, but I've got 2 6s, a 5, a 3, and a 2.
So you drop the 2, drop the 6. So 14 for your first roll. Not bad. Not bad.
Add up here.
Also, I love the fact that chat is already calling Dark rolling a Yahtzee of ones.
They
I mean,
go,
it wouldn't surprise me, especially since we're doing this.
I mean, if you roll a Yahtzee of ones, then something. Well, I'll give you something good.
Roll 2 is in, and it is a 13. We've got 2 6s, a 4, a 3, and a 1.
Okay. Roll 3 coming up here, everybody.
Ooh, roll 3 hurt. 1, 2 2s, a 3, and a 4.
So 3, 4. That's a 7. Ooh.
Roll number 4. 2 5s, a 3, a 2, and a 1.
So that's a 10. I'd say, and I'll throw this out for anybody. If anyone does happen to roll a Yahtzee, then there will be a reward for it. Because that's just awesome.
All right, roll number 5. Ew.
How bad is it?
2 1s, a 2, and 2 3s.
Ooh,
As the nature of the system, you get your ones in there.
that's a 6.
Oh, we'll put that into intelligence.
Also known as the jump stat.
All right, and our final roll tonight for me. Well, an almost Yahtzee. The only thing we're missing is a 3.
So you rolled a 5. No, a Yahtzee is 5 of the same, Nora.
Yeah, Yahtzee's probably the same. A straight's the
Oh,
other.
straight. Yeah, no straight.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
So it's an 11. Okay.
A decent spread there. 14, 13, 11, 10, 7, 6.
The
Goodness.
6 is the concerning one.
7 and 6, though, are both kind of
We'll
low.
just put that into intelligence because I don't need that.
But if you use the normal stat array anyway, there's an 8 in there. So the 7's not that far off from the 8. It's having 2 of them.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Yahtzee would be, Dark Shadows there in chat, but if someone rolls a Yahtzee, there definitely will be something, because, we're rolling dice. Chammy, since you volunteered Nora, you can go next.
Whee! I hope that's how it works. Alrighty, so 6
I hope you
stats.
suffer.
I mean,
We
I
do.
can't suffer worse than you.
Let's say we do, you're on video.
It's 5 dice, not 6.
Alrighty, so take out the highest. Oh, there goes my 6. And the lowest, which is a 4. Okay, so that leaves me with
What?
5, 4, and 4.
Oh my god!
So that's a 13.
Yup.
Not bad.
4, 4, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Yeah, had lots of
dice,
4s.
Chammy's dice have decided they want to be fun tonight.
Okay, yep, that one fell. Doesn't matter because I lose another 6. And another 1. Let's see, 2, 3, and 3. So that's going to be a handy 8.
Handy dandy 8.
Okay, see these 6s going away is breaking my heart. Why did I agree to this? We have a 5 and a 6, so not too bad, 11. Sorry, 3, 2, and 6. So 11.
Okay. And just remember, Chammy, you brought this on yourself because you voted for this.
I did! I only minded a little bit.
It's your fault.
Alrighty, there that goes. So taking away a 2. 5, 4, and 5, so 14. It's 4 of them. 2 more to go. Okay, hey, I rolled 2 ones. That way I'm only losing 1 of them. Okay, I got a 1, a 4, and a 6. I got an 11 out of that.
I mean, not bad, all things considered. So
No,
you rolled
for
2
sure.
6s and 2 1s.
Correct.
And then a 4 for good measure.
Alrighty, and the last roll. Oh, Nora, what'd you do?
You deserve it.
Nora, we're gonna be best friends. Because I
You
rolled.
get yourself a 6-2.
I did. I rolled 3 2s, a 1, and a 3. So that's a 6.
Okay. So we got a couple of dump stats here. This is going to be good. Y'all aren't going to be the smart party, are you?
You don't know where those dice are going.
We were never the smart party to begin with.
There are a grand total of 2 classes that need intelligence, Wizard and Artificer, and you are neither of those.
I know.
Oh, right. Dark, would you like to go next, my friend? Microphone.
Shut up.
Marked it off on your bingo cards, everybody.
At least he's consistent.
And actually, I will do this because it's more fun for me.
Oh, we're getting dice cam.
Ooh, I hope your dice light up.
I see 2 4s.
4 4s, a 2, and a 6.
3. Don't you mean 3 4s? Because it's 5 dice, not 6.
Yeah, so 3 4s, a 6, and a 2.
3 4s, a 6, and a 2. So the 6 and the 2 go, and you get 12. $12 for the first stat.
That actually will be a nice thing to put the numbers underneath us.
There's another 6. That's going away.
So 4, 3, and 2.
So that's a 9.
And that's a 7. That sucks too.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Ooh.
And another 9.
So Nora.
And an 11.
Yeah, so
Nice. Dark decided you wanted to take your title of bad stats.
goodness. What did you get again, Dark?
That's a 10.
So 12, 9, 7, 9, 10.
One more.
Okay, so 12, 9, 7, 9, 11, 10.
Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, we're getting stats under here momentarily, but we
Ooh.
have one more person left to roll. And that would be our lovely and amazing technical producer, Crimson Avix.
I have no clue what you're talking about, lovely and amazing, but
We think you're pretty awesome.
Okay, fine. Awesome technical producer. I won't go lovely.
Will you take Swell?
Swell's okay.
Okay. Gee willikers.
I haven't heard that phrase in forever. like, did you just age 50 years in front of our eyes, Champion?
Pretty much.
Gosh, oh golly, gee willikers.
Yes, indeedy.
Tej, why does your name have to be so damn big?
You know, you can just shorten it to TGE. It's fine. When was the last time you heard me call myself the Greenleaf Effect?
It has been a while.
Yeah. And the numbers you see under dark currently are not the correct ones. They're just getting placed. So
I'm
they
getting
can-
there.
So Krim can edit it. That's all. I'm just saying.
Tell the chat to cool their shorts.
There's
Because clearly,
no one in chat's whining. I'm just aggravating Krim.
There. I'll just
So you said
remove
this would
them
be-
then.
you said this would be a bell curve. I didn't realize how small the top of that curve was going to be, T.
I never said how big of a bell.
You did not say how big of a bell.
I mean, the way you guys are rolling, it's the Taco Bell.
Oh, boy, it is.
No, it's the bell that the goose steals in the goose game. It's an itty bitty thing.
I think it's more because of all the dump stats we have here.
Yes, but the bell in the Goose Game implies somebody wants it. Nobody wants Taco Bell.
I like it.
You eat it because you have to.
I'll flip it over once I get
When-
my stats on.
When I
yeah,
need my
put the
stomach
stat-
purged, I'll do Taco Bell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, put the stats up.
Correct.
All right, so here we go. Crim's Roll's coming at you, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Krim is not rolling right now until that all stops.
For the record, it was Chammy who did it, not me.
Yeah, for once, Chammy's the guilty party.
Okay, first roll is a 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, so that's an 11.
Yes, Chammy, that's how the math works.
You're dealing with the math whiz. You're going to get the numbers before Teach can do anything.
It was all sequential. That's why I was just impressed. That's all.
Next roll is 2, 2, 3, 5, 6, so that's a 10. Next roll, a 1, 2, 6, 6, 6, so that would be a 14.
It's a lucky sight, all those sixes.
No, definitely not lucky. That's a demonic 14 right there.
It's lucky for somebody.
Not sure who.
Fourth roll. 2, 3, 4, 6, 6, so that is a 13.
You actually got some good stats so far compared to the rest of us.
I have a 14, 13, 11, 10. You have a 14, 13, 11, 11. I just haven't rolled a bad stat yet. I still have two more chances.
Krim has the same spread I had until I hit the 7 and the 6.
Ah, fair.
I got dunked on by the dice like usual.
You
Okay.
really did.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6 again, so that's another 11.
Are we going to see it? Are we going to see the 6 double digits?
So I can have a sub 10 stat.
Oh, yeah. 1, 3, 4, 5, 5, so that's a 12.
And we did it. We did it, Reddit. Also, this fireplace camera is really weird because my hands just disappear.
It's like it's
I mean-
flickering.
You're really weird too, but you know, it
Yes.
depends.
Okay. And Nora. Yes, Lizzie, I do in fact have a digital fireplace in the background.
It looks so warm and toasty.
I'm not. I'm cold. It's miserable. It's 37 degrees outside. It snowed yesterday, and my cat's a pain in the butt.
Aw.
Are we giving Teach stats?
I don't get stats because I am the GM. So I make things and I do things like I want to.
He has all the best stats. So we have a pretty
Okay.
solid party, it sounds like.
And then you would have me who would probably die in episode 2.
Okay. So, as you can see, our stats are now on screen. So now comes the fun part. And that's sort of the character building, the discussion of the world, and all that. So, basically, first things first here. What we're going to end up having is just so people who weren't around to get the, unfortunately, our DM, thanks, Krim, for who weren't around for the little teaser and stuff last week. Basically, Diastasi is sort of a dark fairy tale world. What I'm sort of basing it off of is if anyone ever played Magic the Gathering, sort of like the Lorwyn Shadowmoor block, that sort of feel to the world. So it can be expanded upon. It'll be expanded upon basically kind of here, because we're going to sort of build a little bit of this together. But the short version of it is initially there were 3 gods. And I can give you that information here. The god information if need be, but for the most part there are 3 main gods here. There is sort of the elder god who waits for the souls of those who perish in Diastasi, waits for them in, I haven't named the plane yet, we'll call it Elysium for now because that's what they sort of use in D&D Pantheon Normal, so we'll call it that for now, but that's probably subject to change without notice. Then there is the Harvester, which basically, for lack of a better description, is sort of like the god of judgment, the reaper, whatever you want to call them. The Harvester is sort of the god who judges the souls and determines whether or not they are going to Elysium or if they're going to be returned back to Diastasi and resurrected in some way, shape, or form. Then there is the Reveler. The Reveler is the god who sort of introduced magic to Diastasi to give the population, the humanoid population, something to brighten up the world with, the darkness of the world with, and that's sort of what they do. There is more to it than that, but that's sort of the big thing. Harvest season is a twofold thing here in Diastasi. There's the actual meaning of harvest season, which is, all the plants, all the crops being harvested and a celebration of the harvest. But then there's also harvest season, which is sort of less fun. In Diastasi, because there was a bunch of things that happened, but for the most part, the harvester got a little mad at the humanoid population. I'm going to use humans in general as the term for humanoid population, just so it's a little easier for me here, but I mean that with like dwarves, elves, dragonborn, rabbits, whatever you want to say. So got a little mad that they all got access to magic through the Reveler. So the Harvester created these things called scarecrows, which are basically this world's version of the undead. And these scarecrows walk around. They are more prominent and prevalent in the fall months, of course, these seasons of the harvest. And harvest season, once the crops have sort of come in, there's also harvest season, whereas the undead, these scarecrows, are more active than normal. So a lot of towns, cities will have some sort of guard against the rising undead. Some will, if it's a town on a lake, for example, they might submerge their undead into the water to prevent them from rising. Some places will burn them. Some places will just have gates and crypts. There are all different kinds of ways that scarecrows are tried to be prevented. And that's throughout the entire world of Diastasi, not just where you're going to start. Where you guys are going to start is a small little, a decent-sized town on the river called Olmedo. It's Olmedo. I don't care if you're from Olmedo or if you're just there for reasons. That is where we are going to start. There is some information I can give you about Olmedo. We can get to that as we're sort of talking. But again, it's a town on the river. It's got some crops you can harvest, but its primary method of trade and all that is fishing because they're on the river. The river does not have a name. Unlike the Ariri River last time, this isn't one of those long, big, flowy rivers. It's a river. It's just a river. It doesn't have a name. It's a river. So that's sort of where we are. Things that anyone sort of going into Olmedo would know is there is a fishing guild, and they're sort of the ones you would talk to if you wanted to get passage on the river to go someplace. They kind of they have the dockmaster, the quartermaster, all that. That's sort of where you can go there. There is a small to medium-sized gang in Olmedo, known as the Gray Rat Syndicate. For the most part, they do the little hustle and bustle, the protection racket, and they run a tavern and gambling hall called the Cellar. Finally, the only other thing of note right now in Olmedo is there is a decent-sized mansion on the edge of town. In this mansion is a very eccentric nobleman who goes by the name of Duda. Duda is here to preside over Olmedo, as requested by his family. But he is sort of like the aloof, semi-incompetent noble family member. And he is very, very easy to spot because he has an unhealthy obsession for fresh shrimp. And my notes is he kind of looks like a black Doc Brown. I love the look on Champy's face of, wait a second.
I think I've seen this person before.
You weren't expecting a Back to the Future reference, were you?
I was not.
That was me shutting the door behind because the cat was walking in and out. Okay. So that is that. The other thing to note is in the world of Diastasi, a promise is something that is not made lightly. Because any promise made within earshot of a fairy is something that has to be kept, or bad things will happen. Fairies, for the most part, they're mischievous. For most of the fairies are mischievous, so they might curse you to have small accidents, things like that. But there are some fairies, the more powerful ones, that might do more than just curse you to trip over your own feet. So promises are never made lightly in Diastasi. And if you make a fairy promise, it's something that you have to keep. That being said, a lot of the clerics and other things in the world, there will be clerics and paladins of the reveler, of the harvester, of the elder, but a lot of magic and this stuff also comes from the major fairy patrons. And there are some fairy patrons who will be happy to be known. There are others who try and keep to themselves. And of course, there are the four. Each season has their own sets of different fairy nobles, so to speak: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each season has its own sort of things that it brings to it. The two primary courts, the summer court and the winter court, do have their overarching presiding figures. Yes, the ones that would be Titania and Mab. The ones from your typical normal D&D pantheon, any other sort of information that gives you stuff on fairies, that would be all of them as well. So that is sort of the basic information of Diastasi. Any questions, of course, can always be asked. And here's the other thing about what we're going to do with Olmedo here is, like I said, you guys are starting there. Mm-hmm. But I've given you the bare bones of what I've built. If there's something that your character is there for, we can have it be there. This is not just a me creating the world thing. This is an us creating the world thing. So that's kind of the other part of this session 0 is we're creating characters. We're going to go ahead and start with that. So... And any questions, any comments, concerns, complaints, we don't have to flesh out the full stuff right now. This is more of the creating the character, getting a little bit of the backstory, the background done, and kind of figuring out why you are in Olmedo.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one other thing I did forget to mention, the woman in charge of the Gray Rat Syndicate is Lady Nadia.
How's that spelled?
What, Nadia? Nadia?
Okay.
Is there another way to spell the name Nadia?
Yeah, it's like a Lithuanian way where it's spelled with an R. Like Nerija. Like it actually is pronounced Nadia, but it's... I was just curious.
Okay. I see Chammy's going to be that one tonight. Okay.
I don't need to.
I mean, I have a whole Google Doc already started on this notes.
Oh, don't worry. I do too. Mine I just can't show you because mine has italicized notes, which y'all can't read.
Ooh, the secret stuff.
Yes, the GM notes.
I have nothing.
Which, for reference, for those of you who are in the Discord, I will be doing summaries for each episode the next day. Just little quick snippets to entice you to go watch the YouTube channel.
Yes,
Ooh,
absolutely.
advertisement.
Yes. So with that, we've got sort of the information down of Olmedo, of this Diastasi. So for those of you in the live chat, the Discord link is there. We haven't got that far yet, Nora.
I thought we had the YouTube link working. Maybe not. There it is.
With that, let's get to some characters. Okay. So you guys should all have access to the D&D Beyond, where you can build the sheets. And the D&D Beyond is nice because once you have it all built, you can actually, there's a program, I have to remember what it is again, but they can actually sync your character sheet to the Roll20. So you can roll on D&D Beyond, and the dice rolls will show up on Roll20. So I did create
the Chrome extension, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I did create some character sheets on the Roll20 if you guys want them, but the D&D Beyond option is also there.
It's the extension Beyond 20.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a new invite. Hold on.
Yeah, all right, so you're going to take care of that. But with that, let's get to some character ideas and options here, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sort of just like round table this. We'll go person to person, figure out what's going on. I know, Krim, you got some stuff going on in the background, so we'll get to you at the end here if we have time and you come up with something. But I know that the other three of you with your active cameras do have ideas and stuff for what's going on. So we're going to start, and we're just going to start in alphabetical order. So, Chammy, what do you got for me?
I have a ranger who is a member of the Haragon race, which means he's a anthropomorphic rabbit. I've actually been thinking about this quite a bit. I like the idea of him having sort of a vendetta a little bit against scarecrows because he's a bit of a younger fellow. I'm thinking like upper teens. He's been an orphan because, of course, D&D character, but
hey, he's not a rogue. He shouldn't have a tragic backstory.
But he has a mentor that was killed by a scarecrow attack, and this mentor, like, mostly.
Can I interrupt you for one thing?
Go for it.
Can we put "killed" in quotation marks?
Yes, his mentor. He lost track of his mentor during a scarecrow attack. And that's kind of where I'm going right now. He also lost an eye during that scarecrow attack. And he's more or less been kind of on his own since then. So, which means he's kind of rough around the edges. But yeah, so Ranger, living a lot in the woods, probably very used to some of the stranger things that are in the woods, but not as used to the finer points of society.
Okay. Now, before we get too far going, you'll notice that I haven't given these guys a level of which we're going to start at yet. And that's intentional. The reason being is because I kind of want to see what they're all going to go for. And I want to base the starting level on what they have, because if they all have stuff that gets their subclasses at level 3, I don't want to wait too far along to get that. I may start them out at 3, we may start them out at 2. So that's why I haven't given a starting level yet. So we're looking at a double R. We got a Rabbit Ranger.
Indeed.
Yeah. Now I believe Rangers, if I'm right, they do get their subclass at 3.
They do. That's correct.
Okay. All right. So we will table our Ranger here for a minute. We can get into backstory stuff in a minute here. But Dark, what do you have for me?
So I've been toying with the idea of like having most of my spells be off like dice rolls, which I know is kind of tough for D&D. So I know you and I were discussing the Wild Magic Sorcerer, which is what I think I'm probably going to go with. He's going to be a Dragonborn with a fire aspect to him.
Okay. So Sorcerer get their stuff at level 1. So it doesn't matter what thing you're doing that. But Wild Magic, Wild Magic is one of the classes they dropped in the initial player's handbook back when it came out in 2014. So I personally love the Wild Magic Sorcerer, but I feel it needs a little caressing. And I want to bring this up here when we discuss it. But the Wild Magic Sorcerer, what it does is every time you cast a spell that isn't a cantrip being a level 0 spell, you roll a d20. And with the rules as written, it's every time you roll a 1, you get an effect on this Wild Magic table. You roll and you see what happens. But that's a 5% chance every time. And that's it. And to me, that's not fun. So my proposition for this is every time you cast a spell, you roll the die. And every time something Wild Magic doesn't happen, you increase the odds by 5% every time. So the first time you roll, it's on a 1. Then it's on a 1 and a 2. Then it's on a 1 and a 1, 2, and 3, etc., etc. And when you hit the Wild Magic Surge, it resets back to 1 again.
So sounds good to me with my crappy dice rolls.
I was going to say, basically, every 17 to 20 rolls, his will reset.
Pretty much.
That's about right.
So that is my proposal to start out with, and if we find that it's not triggering enough to where we like it, or we want to do other things, then if we can absolutely have discussion. But that was what I wanted to bring up for the Wild Magic Sorcerer, because it's no fun to have this mechanic where crazy things can happen and then no crazy thing ever happens. So is that something you're cool to start with?
Yeah, let's go with it.
Awesome.
So only bad things will happen whenever Dark rolls a 1 at first. How often is that going to happen?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's 1, then 2, then exactly.
Right. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and the Wild Magic Surge list, there are some fun ones. There is the Fireball centered on the caster, which will kill everybody. There's also the random you turn into a potted plant.
For how long?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the list in a bit.
Huh.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yes. So we've got a Wild Magic Sorcerer, and again, we'll get to the discussion on why you are in Olmedo here in a hot minute. But we do have Nora. Nora, what are you bringing to the table?
I am playing a homebrew class from the
It's from the Critical Role people.
from Critical Role.
That's why I hadn't heard of it.
It is the Blood Hunter. In fact, I will be a High Elf Blood Hunter.
Yes. And the reason the Blood Hunter is being allowed here is because it is a class that has all of its information onto the D&D Beyond stuff. Similar to the Echo Knight that Krim ran for a little bit in Lagaria, which was also a Critical Role class. Because it's on D&D Beyond, and WotC has partnered with Critical Role. They've got one book has already come out. They have another one coming out, so I have no problem with that, because if it's on the D&D Beyond website, if WotC is cool with it, I'm cool with it. So that being said, Nora, can you describe a little bit about what a Blood Hunter is for those of us who might not know?
Mm-hmm.
I have to find the page again.
The short version of the Blood Hunter is they are able to use, for lack of a better description, sanguine magic or sanguine abilities. They use their own blood, or potentially the blood of enemies, to use their abilities. So they are definitely a melee class. They're definitely a frontline class. But that's basically the thing of the Blood Hunter, and they definitely have a vendetta against something wrong. Them, they are hunting something for some reason.
Why do I have a feeling that at some point I'm going to hurt the entire party and Nor's going to use it to his advantage?
I mean, wouldn't be the first time y'all have done something like that. As long as the squirrel doesn't end up with a pile driver, we're okay. Although
This time it'd be the bunny with the bulldozer.
I mean, we don't have an artificer yet, so unless Krim plays an artificer, I don't think we're getting the bunny with the bulldozer.
Most likely not.
Mm-hmm.
Looks at multi-classing Blood Hunter with artificer.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but you already said you're dumping intelligence, so.
He's a bad artificer.
No, I'm not dumping intelligence.
Oh, you're dump. Oh,
I already put my stats in.
You did. Okay.
So I can actually give those out. I will have a Dex of 14, Constitution of 13, an Intelligence of 11, a Charisma of 10, a Strength of 7, and a Wisdom of 6.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention to everybody is there is, and I did mention this to Dark earlier when we were talking, but on that front page where it has all of the tabs and you name your character, a little bit down the way there is the customize options. One of them allows you to add optional class features and customize your origin. I forgot to turn those on. If you want to turn those on, you can. Specifically, the customize your origin one, basically what it allows you to do is play the race you want to play, but not be beholden to the stat increases that it gives you. So, for example, on an elf, you don't necessarily have to have the 2 to, the 2 to dexterity, the 1 to intelligence, or whatever it is. You can put the 2 in whatever you want, and the +1 in whatever you want. So that is an option as well. The optional class features are there. The optional class feature there's a couple of them. To be options as well. Sorry, I'm typing notes into my document here.
No worries.
Because I also have document stuff.
Yeah, my race actually came with that option built in. That's why it threw me off.
Yeah, I might have checked it, I might not have checked it, but yeah, you have the option of doing that. The optional class features, of course, are the class stuff. I think it's from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Okay, and I definitely think there are variant stuff for the Ranger you definitely want to look at.
That is true. I heard about the Ranger variant.
Yeah, so that's definitely something to look at. I don't know if there's anything for the Blood Hunter, but that is there as well. It's definitely something that you guys all want to do.
And where's it at again? Sorry, on our sheet?
So when you go to your character, I can just go turn it on for everybody.
Okay.
But basically on that front, when you're in the character creation section on the page there, and it's got there's the page. There's I'm going to go onto your character here for a second, Krim. Krim, Chammy. So you're in the character on the home where it says home. There's home, race, class, abilities, and all that. The third one down says optional features.
1, 2, oh, there it is.
Turn both of those on.
Whee! I have done so.
All right, so same thing with you, Nora. I'll turn those on in yours if they're not already turned on. Krim, turn those on in yours as well.
Fine.
So I'm looking at Larissa's class on this, and I don't see how I would set my class.
All right, so I'll go on to yours and help you out here for a second. So we go with that. So in the class page here, you click where it says Sorcerer. And a little button will have up and say Confirm Add Class.
Okay, I did that.
And hit Add Class.
I did that.
All right. So that should... Come on. All right. Level 1 starting class. Okay, good. It's not giving you any of the other options right now because we don't have a level. Oh, there you are. Now you're good. So you should see class features and all that. Do you see them?
I see hit points, proficiency, spellcasting, and sorcerer's origin.
That's what you want to see. Now, your proficiencies and sorcerer's origin should be outlined in blue, which means they have options for you to take. Your proficiencies are the two skills that you choose that you are proficient in, and that means you will get a proficiency bonus to them every time that you roll. You starting out, your proficiency bonus will be +2. Your sorcerer's origin, that's where you're going to click it, and you're going to click wild magic, because that's where you're going to get all the wild magic stuff from.
Got it.
Yep. So that is what's going on for that. So we've got our Blood Hunter, we've got our Wild Magic Sorcerer, we have got our Ranger. Krim, is it too early to come to you for any thoughts?
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest, it's you, so if I had asked you for thoughts, no matter what the subject is, you'd probably tell me no?
I don't know. But I don't have anything right now.
No, fair enough. Just wanted to get that out there so people weren't thinking I was ignoring you.
I mean, people think that anyway.
Yeah, I'm pardon the pun, trying to turn over a new leaf.
We're not pardoning the pun because it was intentional.
I mean, most puns are intentional. That's the point of a pun, isn't it?
Then don't say pardon it.
Les sigh. Les sigh.
Indeed.
All right, so from the looks of it, Nora, you get your stuff at level 2. Dark gets it at level 1. Chammy gets it at level 3. So I think we're going to start at level 2. I think that makes the most sense. You don't quite get your Ranger archetype yet, but you can be on your way. You know what you're sort of getting at.
Indeed, I know where I'm going.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. Now, the next thing is, hey, wait, because we're at level 2 and we're starting at level 2, there are more dice to roll, everybody.
Oh, no.
Yes. Would you like to know what those dice we're going to roll are?
Hit point dice?
Hit point dice. So automatically, at level 1, you start with your maximum amount of hit points, which is the top row of your hit die plus your Constitution modifier. And
all right.
then there is the hit die. Every time you level up, you roll your hit die. So for the case of Nora and the Blood Hunter, because I'm on that page, your hit dice is a D10. You roll your hit die, and you add that to your plus your con, and it will automatically add your con to it. Basically, say you roll a 5, you get another 8 hit points for that level if you were Nora. The other option, I will give you 2 options on hit points, is the less fun, less dice rolly option. You can always take what the average roll would be and put that as your hit points. So, for example, say you had a D8, your average roll would be a 4. You're right in the middle there. You're half, 4.5 or 4, whatever it is. So you roll out up to 5, I believe. You can always take that option. That's less fun, but you can do it.
For sure. So it automatically rolled stuff for me when it came to my HP, or automatically gave me the average thing. How do I change that?
Okay, so what we're going to do is, let me go back into character sheets here. On
Hit point
the
tab, I see it.
Yep, you see the hit point tab up top
I do.
there, and it is well. Here's the. I'm going to fix it for you right now because you have hit point type fixed. We're going to go hit point type manual. So now, if you go to your class section again, you should be able to manage your HP.
There she is.
All right, so now you're good.
How do I change my level?
On that tab where your class is, right up top where it says Sorcerer, right next door it should say Level with a drop-down menu.
Got it.
And our first level is max HP, or are
Yes.
they both rolled? Okay,
First level is always max HP.
cool. That way you don't just die.
This isn't 1, 2, or 3 of those first editions where a wizard, a strong gust of wind would kill a wizard. Spoiler alert: if you've never played, I played 3 and 3.5. Wizards and sorcerers in that system, your hit die was a D4.
Yes.
All right, so on the manage hit point screen, it says rolled HP, HP modifier, override HP. We just changed the rolled HP.
All right, so yes, you change what the rolled HP says. So what did we roll? Nora,
Well, let's find out. 13.
What?
No, you only roll 1. The first one is automatically a 10.
Oh, I've got 2d10 on mine.
Right. Because you are at second level, so you have 2d10 hit die. Your first one is automatically going to be a 10, so you're going to roll 1d10 here.
Okay, well, let's roll 1d10 then. A 2.
All right. So for you, your rolled hit points are going to be 12. The 10 plus the 2, and then you're going to get the plus 6, the 3 from each of your levels for your con modifier, because your con modifier is plus 3, if I'm correct. Right? Or no? No. Your con modifier as far as a 13 should be a plus 1.
Yeah, so I should have 13 HP.
You should have 14 HP.
Okay, that's what I've got.
Okay. Perfect. There we go.
I know, I rolled a 4.
Hey, better than Nora.
So 14 is where I'm at right now.
So your rolled HP should be
Indeed.
14. Dark.
What dice do I need?
I believe a sorcerer is a D6. Let me double check though. You are a D6, so go ahead and roll that D6.
Five.
Awesome. So your rolled HP is going to be 11. So on that class screen, go up and hit the Manage HP button and just put 11 in your rolled HP section. So next, for those of you on D&D Beyond who haven't done it yet, the next tab is Abilities. For those of you with spells, Dark, we can do spells later because that's a little bit to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the class thing, you should see your optional features manager. You can go in and take a look at that. I'm pretty much good with all the optional features you want to add. So in the next tab is going to be Abilities. As you can see, Manual Rolled. You can tab it over so it says Manual Rolled. And just type in the number to the section you want it to go to. Also, Dark. Real quick for you, if you go back to race for a second, I'm going to change your origin manager here so you can choose ability scores to put up by 2 and 1 instead.
Okay. I
So-
think I was already set for that.
Yeah. So you have that you can play with if you want to. I just wanted to turn it on so you have that option. So yeah, you should have the ability score increase in blue on your screen. So you can choose one ability to get a +1 and the other to get a +2 if you don't want the normal Dragonborn ones. So same thing for everybody. If you want an Origin Manager abilities, you can punch those in. It's all good.
Nice.
So, since, again, we're not planning on starting this until after the new year because I'm going to be gone the next 2 weeks anyway. So you won't have a DM. I don't necessarily need backstories right this very minute.
Okay.
But if you have stuff, I will happily take it so I can jot it down so I can begin planning some things.
I mean, I got some light stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you don't have it, it's not a big deal. But the things to think about when giving a backstory is why you are in the town of Olmedo.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing, is why you're in Olmedo. Any sort of backstory driving you, anything that I can, use as a DM to help drive character motivation. Any sort of thing of that nature. So it doesn't have to be a lot. Like for example, Chammy, you're on a hunt for your missing mentor.
Right, which is pretty standard. Yeah.
Right.
So
I mean, that's, as a DM, I'm like, excellent, Smithers. So again, you can do as much or as little as you want. And again, this whole thing is this is a collaborative thing. So you're there. You're in Olmedo. As an example, you're in Olmedo because you heard there's a small hunters guild in the forest who hunts in the forest who may be able to give you some information. As an example.
Gotcha.
And then it doesn't have to be. That's just an example. So
Right.
I use that as an example because if there's something in Olmedo, you're there because there's X, Y, or Z there. We can make it happen. Like, obviously Olmedo's not like the capital or anything, so no, there's no one big like, hey, you can't go talk to the king, the queen, or the crown prince or something. But we can have little things like that.
Well, I do have at least something that I was kind of going off of. I finally named my mentor.
Ooh, nice.
Yep.
Let me go. All right.
Alrighty. My mentor's name is Creighton. So, put that in there. And I'm actually going to go against what I normally do. I'm actually going to have him also be a Haragon. So I won't do the whole cross race thing. And yeah, the reason that my character, I'm calling him Dovin for now. Or, yeah, Dovan. The reason that he's in Olmedo right now is he's actually trying to hunt scarecrows right now. He's like kind of taking it upon himself to get revenge on them, and basically he's there because he heard that there was probably a sighting nearby, and he's interested in following up on that and potentially trying to follow up on how to stop them for good. But right now, he's just in Olmedo because he heard there was a sighting nearby, and he wants to hunt his quarry. Because he actually believes that his mentor is dead. So right now, he's just out for good old cold revenge.
Good old cold revenge.
So it's not letting me add my +2. How do I do that?
All right, so where do you want to add your +2?
Oh, you gotta do 2 in charisma and then 1 in constitution.
All right, done and done for you. We can absolutely do that. So yeah, Dark, just go ahead and punch your stats in on your roll sheet here. But yeah, so I've got that taken care of.
So do I just change my charisma to 14?
Yeah, so whatever the die roll is. So your highest stat was the 14? No, the 12. No, it's a 12. So you go ahead on charisma, on charisma here, for example, you type in 12, and it will apply the +2 at the bottom.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
Typing intensifies.
Yes. I have notes I have to take. And actually, Chammy, it's funny that you mentioned hunting scarecrows, because it would be the appropriate time of year, because we are going to be starting around the fall.
I hope so.
It is harvest season.
Ooh.
So being somewhere, especially on the outer towns that don't necessarily have the greatest protection, having people there, especially adventurers, to help with scarecrows that might break into the city proper, they are always happy to have that.
I wonder. I'm getting sort of an idea. I'm wondering if, like, my character, when he lost his mentor, that it wasn't just a scarecrow attack, but there was actually really bad and horrid, grotesque scarecrow that was in the middle of all of it, and he's hunting that monster scarecrow. I'm thinking an Oogie Boogie type thing.
Oh, so, perfect. Because I actually happen to have a couple of those in my back pocket ready to go, so absolutely we can do that.
So he's not just tracking scarecrows, he's tracking this particular scarecrow, monstrosity that he thinks is responsible for his mentor's loss. So yeah, He's trying to pick up breadcrumbs of that here. That feels a lot more interesting to me.
Does.
I do have some information on my character as well. Yeah, we need to take notes.
No, alrighty. What do we have, Nora?
So, blood hunters are hunting something.
Are we also hunting scarecrows?
No.
Are we hunting fairies?
Are we hunting rabbits?
Yeah, no. No.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits.
Well, so part of the background is Feylost.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up in the Feywild after disappearing from your home plane as a child. Perhaps you were spirited away by a kind Fey. Perhaps you were kidnapped by some evil Fey, but escaped. Yeah, we've had some run-ins with the evil Fey, and it's time for revenge.
Okay. That's actually brilliant.
Also, I have hand drums.
Ooh.
Hand drums.
Yes.
Well, funny you bring that up, because also I have in my notes of stuff that I can't read. to you guys, but I can give you this. You would know how to track some Fae. And evil is a hard word, but there are definitely Fae that mean more ill to humans and humanoids than others. You have made your way, and I'll give you this because it already is in my notes. You have absolutely made your way to Olmedo because you've heard some reports through however your connections are that there's a fairy, a pretty high-powered fairy, quote unquote high-powered fairy, that has made the woods around Olmedo its home, and you're looking for them. I will even give you what the name of the fairy is you're looking for.
Okay.
You are looking for Malum, Malum. Malum is a spring fairy, and he calls himself the Prince of Mischief.
Nice.
Malum's a spring fairy. Let me double check my notes.
So, and some physical characteristics. The standard silver hair, a very dark, like almost charred skin, with glowing red eyes.
So you're a high elf who's been through the ringer.
Yes. So he's about 7 feet tall. Give an idea, around 35.
35 is still a kid as an elf, right?
That's true. So more like.
But 35. Well, it works out good because in the Feywild, time accelerates at different.
Right.
Right. So 35 makes sense here. Actually, I like it.
And so a couple of things towards his personality. He lives by his own set of weird and wonderful rules, and he's haunted by Fey laughter that only he can hear. But his ideals are he will never let go of a grudge, and he will do whatever it takes to get what he wants, regardless of the harm it may cause.
Now, where you come up for those is, here's the fun thing, is for D&D, Nora's a high elf, to answer your question. For D&D, for 5th edition, in one of your sections, I think it's the background section, it gives you the options of a background and some personality traits if you can't think of any, which is where Nora got some of those from. So if you want some, they're based off of class and race type of deal. So if you want some ideas for that, on the background tab, you can absolutely do that. Backgrounds are important for 5e because they give you a couple of proficiencies. So if you don't see one that you like on D&D Beyond and the regular stuff in D&D Beyond, there is always a bunch of homebrew things we can definitely look into and take a look at. I bring that up because, again, for Lagaria, Krim's background, his character's background was a homebrew thing we found on D&D Beyond. So that's definitely something we can do. And there's also the custom background stuff. So we can absolutely make something work. So we've got a couple of small backstories. Like I said, I don't need any right now. So if you don't have any, that's great. But Krim, my friend.
Yes.
Do you have anything for us, or are we still in the dark?
I don't have any lights on, so yes, I'm in the dark.
I mean, you're in the dark. He is dark. I mean...
So, because we have Nora playing, we have one major lacking thing on this team, and it's healing.
I beg your pardon. I was the healer and the tank in the last campaign. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's hard to heal when you're tanking the floor.
Glass tanks don't count.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be the tank.
That was the problem.
But, I will be running a cleric, but it is going to have a special order domain.
Yes.
Which is the divine domain, which is basically the art of influence.
And to answer the question that was posed in here real quick, what would my alignment fall under? Alignment is pretty much strictly a role play thing. It has no really mechanical value. So your alignment can be whatever the heck you want it to be because there's very little reason it's going to come into play. But anyway, back to Krim and his Art of Influence.
Yeah, so basically, I can give my... I can't hold control and click different tabs at the same time. I can give the other people here basically an overview of some of my abilities. There are other domain related spells that I get as well. The two I'll have to start are called Command and Heroism. But I get proficiency with heavy armor and either intimidation or persuasion. I get an ability called Voice of Authority. So starting at my first level, I can invoke the power of law to drive an ally to attack. If I cast a spell with a spell slot of first level or higher and target an ally with that spell, that ally can use their reaction immediately after the spell to make one weapon attack against a creature of your choice that you can see.
Good.
I can... go ahead.
And then I also get Channel Divinity, because we are starting at second level. So starting at second level, you can use your Channel Divinity to exert an intimidating presence over others. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each creature of your choice that can see or hear you within 30 feet of you must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you until the end of your next turn, or until the charmed creature takes any damage. You can also cause the charmed creature to drop what they are holding when they fail the saving throw. This is important because Nora's character has horrible wisdom.
And I would like to point out, as a DM, as a player, I have played an Order Domain Cleric. I can tell you it was an immense amount of fun, and I know I'm in for an absolute horrible level of shenanigans because I got told several times by the DM that I was awful for doing that because, yeah. But I love the Order Domain. It's great. The only sad part is there is no rogue to pair it with because rogue sneak attack happens once a turn, not once a round. So if you Voice of Authority the rogue, it's sneak attack, sneak attack. But I love the Order Domain. It's my second favorite cleric domain. My first being Tempest because I love storms and wind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we've got ourselves a cleric, but Krim, there's something missing. We know what class you are, but what race are you?
I was gonna make a joke about. I was talking to you, TJ. I didn't think a race was gonna happen.
I mean, that's true. That is true. The only time I'm gonna race you is to the fridge.
I am.
As we all know to stay out of the way of that race.
I am naturally not going to do a human or, well, I mean, elf would make sense, but
elf is your normal.
I am going to be a race called the Vidalcan. If you've played Magic, you might be familiar with it. But Vidalcan, like Elven, are they age slower, so they reach maturity a little bit later and stuff like that. They are typically lawful, which sort of aligns with a cleric. They have a blue tone to their skin. But some of the advantages. Vidalcan Dispassion. I have an advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. There's Tireless Precision, and I'm proficient in one of the skills of my choice: Arcana, History, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, or Sleight of Hand. Whenever I make an ability check with my chosen skill or tool, I roll a d4 and add that number to the check's total on top of the advantage. Then I'm also partially amphibious, so I can breathe underwater for an hour.
Wow.
I did say any race and any books I have was available, and that is in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica.
That's kind of awesome.
So yeah, it's going to be a different race, but it's going to be fun to play. Also, I do want to note to everyone, I do not normally play lawful characters, so this should be interesting.
Yes. Also, I want to note to everyone, this is the most anti-me party ever. We've got a bunny, a dragon, aquatic humanoid, and an elf. There is not a human in sight.
I mean, we barely had a human in the last party either.
I mean, barely, but it was a bunch of elves and stuff. Like this is the most anti-me ever.
We thank you for making this sacrifice, Teach.
It may be anti-you, but by the end, it won't be anti-meme.
No, there will definitely be memes.
We can't escape that.
No, I mean, look at the crew we have here. I mean, we've got me, we've got Dark, we've got Nora, who is a walking meme.
It's true.
I mean, we have a meme channel in the Discord just for you, my friend.
We do.
We do. We also have an art channel for Chammy.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
Quick question for you. Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just asking, which skill would be needed when you're trying to figure out information about, like, scarecrows or undead or the Fae or anything? Would that be religion or would that be arcana?
Scarecrows would be religion. Fae would be arcana.
Gotcha.
And what I was gonna say is we just need a kill stealing channel for Dark in there now.
That'll happen sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. So, gentlemen. I forgot to ask a very important question. Chammy gave it willingly, but the rest of y'all got names for your tunes?
Not yet.
I do have a name.
Okay, what do we got?
Berazat Shadowwind.
Bless you.
Gesundheit. Yes. That is Brezad and then Shadowwind.
They'll call you Shadowwind. Gosh.
I'm going to call you Shadow, definitely.
Yeah.
And as soon as we start calling you Shadow, you're going to have to find and adopt a dog and name it Interceptor.
I was just going to use Chaos Control.
Thank you. I was trying to think of a way to get that in there.
Yep. I figured I'd go with the dog joke and give you the Sonic one. Dark, do you have a name?
Yes, I decided to name my character Janus.
That's an interesting name.
Janus.
Yes, it's an interesting name for two reasons. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is Chrono Trigger.
Oh, yeah.
And the second thing that comes to mind is actually Janus coming from one of the gods that means two faces.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. But yeah, Janus, the first thing that comes to my mind is definitely Janus from Chrono Trigger, which fits the concept of a sorcerer beautifully. So,
Ooh, what be this?
that would be a document. So, gentlemen, do we have any other questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Nora, I don't care about your complaints.
Who do I complain about the roast last week to?
You set it up.
What about the roast this week?
You set it up.
I'll have a word with myself later.
Mm-hmm.
You said there's like a river boat in Was it Imeldo?
Olmedo. Olmedo.
Gotcha. So there's like a riverboat there that can like
Uh,
transport people?
It is on the river, so they're getting a lot of fishing. So there is you'd have to talk. It's not necessarily a river boat per se, but the fishery guild can absolutely set you up if you need to leave on the river for some reason. Can absolutely set you up with transportation. Sometimes you have to pay. Sometimes it's you got to guard. They make deals as to how they get people places.
Gotcha. So if they're on a river, does that mean that they are also sort of on a trade route? Because rivers are typically used for trade.
Yes, you absolutely could infer that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there is a forest. Basically, there's a forest, like a wooded area to the southwest of Olmedo, and the river goes out sort of more like west northwest. That takes you more proper into the continent proper.
Okay. Last big question I have is: you said the leader of the Gray Rats was a woman named Nadia.
Correct.
Is she a young woman or is she an older woman? Like, is she actually like? How do we know anything about her? Like, is she?
It wouldn't be too hard to ask around. She's how do I want to describe her?
So I'm trying to think if this is like a gang of ruffians, like punks, or if this is like just a gang, like the mafia type deal.
This is definitely more mafia feel.
Definitely
more mafia feel.
I guess they're running a gambling den. That makes sense.
Yeah. Did you ever see the show Queen of the South?
No.
Okay, it was a show about a drug queen pen. That's sort of the vibe. Like that's sort of like okay, you guys go out and do your thing. We have like she's a lawful evil crime boss. For the description is she's got her set of morals, her set of values, and she's not going to have a problem with you if you're not interrupting her business. She may be willing to help you if it benefits her.
Nice, I like that angle.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And everybody also, one other thing about the Gray Rat Syndicate, they are referred to, the members of this are referred to as rats with a capital R. So usually in Olmedo, if you hear about a rat problem, it's not an animal one.
Oh.
And the other thing that will be known is her number 2 is a big hulking brute of a man named Koji.
Spell it.
Koji. Also, Krim, apparently, according to chat, you're not a lawful frog, you're a waffle frog.
Seems reasonable.
But I blame that on our favorite monkey.
All right. Whatever. If I'm a waffle, I'm a waffle.
Well, I mean, it's better than being an abless waffle. You're an actual waffle. Nora, what is that? Is that a speaker disc?
It's a waffle
iron
thing.
Weird.
Are you talking about the thing or Nora?
I mean, I'm used to Nora.
You can still be weird.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That was not a question.
That was
barely a word. Yes.
That was a noise.
When will we be returning to Diastasi?
Let's take a look at the calendar here. So, the next 2 Sundays, I'm gone. I'm visiting my mother in Florida, so I'll be gone the next 2 Sundays. Then we have the question of January 2nd for everybody, the day after New Year's. Is everybody around for that?
You should be.
Mm-hmm.
Nora and Crimothy.
Oh, don't ask me something 3 weeks out.
Fair. So the tentative plan will be we will resume on January 2nd. If not, we will be guaranteed, quote unquote guaranteed, back on the 9th.
Sweet.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
Not right now.
Okay. So if you have not done so already, there is the link for the Discord. Go ahead and join in there, where there will be, Nora will set up a place where there'll be sort of the session notes. You can all know what's going on. We might link to the YouTube, so you have access to that. I will note that the Who's Line stream from last week has been highlighted. It just needs to be uploaded to YouTube. I will be getting on that tomorrow. So we'll be doing that. You chat comment for my guarantees. I put it in quotes. So make sure you stay tuned to the Twitter, which you see the link right there for any updates involving when we go live or anything else like that. Again, final thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, or complaints?
I'm very excited for this. I think it sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
I'm going to die in episode 2.
Episode
Probably.
2. Challenge accepted. What's going to be funny is he's going to do it to himself with the Wild Magic Surge. Now, I will say this. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of TPKs. If something bad's going to happen, it'll be if it's possible, it'll be a total party capture, not a total party kill. Just keep that in mind. One person dying, is the thing. But I try not to TPK. I might have
put it
to.
in the session notes.
Yep. So, with that, on behalf of our entire crew here at Bay City Chronicles, that would be Chameleon Ice, Crimson Avix, Dark Falls, and Norestra. I am TGE, reminding everybody to, of course, as always, keep hailing.